Hi guys, and welcome back to 52 Outs. Now in this video we're going to be discussing basically the easiest way that you can make money playing cash poker here over on CoinPoker or any other reputable poker platform. Okay, now the best way as a beginner to start out playing poker and actually earning money from it is essentially finding the fish of the table. Now the fish of the table is commonly known as the worst player. Okay, now the fish of the table tends to usually be the player that pays out the most, and this is what a lot of pros and people that play poker for a living will sit and do. They'll basically sit on a cash table like I am just here, and they will sit there and they will play all day waiting for a fish to join. When the fish joins, they know how that fish plays and how they can take money off that fish. Okay, so now we are going to be going through, I think like 10 or 15 things exactly what a fish does on a table and what you need to be looking out for here when playing poker to essentially make as much money as you can when playing against these very beginner players or not experienced players or tilted players or just genuinely higher gambling players, right? Okay, so the first thing on the list that we're going to be going through today is called limping in. Now, a fish who doesn't essentially know the game will basically limp in to most hands just to be in the hand because they want to play. So for example, right now, me being under the gun here after the big blind, if I was a fish, what I would do, I would simply just call here. Okay, I would call, I'd not be aggressive here, and I'd basically just want to be in the hand. Now that shows weakness, and that shows lack of experience here. So for example, small change there, he just limped in for 50 cents, and that basically shows weakness. Okay, and you can see straight away a more experienced player will raise over the top to apply pressure to the other player, because poker in cash like this, what you want to do, you don't want to be playing against 3 or 4 different players at the same time. You want to narrow it down and segment who you're actually playing against. You want to be essentially heads up on a table of 6 to 9 players. So for example, these two are now playing against each other because they don't want to be playing against 3 or 4 other players in the same hand, because there's a higher chance that those other players are going to hit. They're going to hit cards, they're going to hit hands, right? So you don't want to play, you want to basically segment your audience, and that is why limping in is a weakness, because it gives the whole table a chance to call for literally next to nothing. Okay, whereas when you raise aggressively, you segment the players that you're playing against, and it makes it easier to target, and your odds actually increase of winning that hand and beating that 1 player, not 3 players. Okay, now the next thing on the list here is calling a 3-bet with trash hands. Okay, so when a decent poker player 3-bets, usually pre-flop or even post-flop on the turn of the river, they usually have a decent hand. Okay, they usually have a decent hand. And what a fish would do, because if a fish will notoriously not like to fold. Okay, so for example, that is a great example. You see, he just lost literally $50 on a pair of 4s. He had bottom pair on the board. There was a king and queen there. He got raised all the way through and just got absolutely obliterated. And that's a fine example of a fish never wanting to fold. A fish will never fold literally a 2 pair, 3 of a kind straight. Even if there's a blatant flush draw on the board or anything like that, they just won't fold. So when they are calling like big 3-bets with literally a pair, like this guy just did there, it's just weakness, and that's exactly what you're looking out for there. So once you spot that fish, you basically want to play as many hands as you can against him. So you can see he's just reloading his balance continuously here, which is a great sign for us, because the more hands that we can play against this guy, the higher chance that we're going to win. It's better playing against a less experienced player that's essentially giving money away than playing against someone who's got a lot more experience, who knows how to play the game. Okay, so calling random 3-bets with trash hands is a massive point as to fish basically looking like they're inexperienced. Okay. Now, another one is using random bet sizes that make no sense. Okay, so usually in poker you have a 3-bet, half pot, and then obviously over betting the pot, and then obviously jamming, which is of course all in, right? Now, if you're not sticking to those sorts of bet values, then it kind of poses a red flag, especially at this early stage in this low stakes. It does pose a red flag that you don't really know what you're doing, and that's something that we do really look out for here when sort of hunting for these fish. They'll just be like, they'll bet just over a 3-bet or under a 3-bet, or they'll raise like a really weak raise on the river or something like that, something that just doesn't look right. That obviously shows that they're inexperienced, and it's another thing that we look out for when hunting for these fish. Okay. Another thing is over betting the pot when they finally hit something. So you saw earlier with that small change there on just above me here, he hit that 4 on the flop, and the pot just started to increase crazy amounts because he was literally just raising with a pair of 4s. He was raising with bottom pair here, with a king and a queen on the flop as well. And that's just something that a fish does because they get a hand, they get excited, and they just want to throw it all in because they think they're going to win. They don't know the game. So over betting the pot with a weak hand is very, very common. Now, the fact that we've seen that happen already, that's already given us that flag that he's the fish. If someone's over betting the pot, and you haven't found out that they're the fish yet, they might be a good player and overbetting the pot for a reason. So just wait until you have that confirmation before using it as a tactic when you are playing, okay? Now, calling down with bottom pair, just in case, exactly the same what we just saw there with small change, calling down with literally bottom pair the whole way through, up against pocket aces, when there was a king and queen clearly on the table as well. So yeah, he's clearly the weaker player, he's clearly the fish here, just calling with pretty much any hand that he has, which is good for us if we can hit a really nice strong hand, or even the nuts here. We can probably slow roll him into potentially shoving all in or something like that, right? So that is another point, basically calling down with bottom pair, very, very important, okay? Now, slow playing monster hands and then panicking when they hit big, okay? So you can see here, there is obviously a clock that ticks down, and you can see, if you can see I'd say if the flop was like a 9-9 ace, you could see a fish would be like, oh my God, I've got 3 of a kind, I've hit 3 of a kind on the flop, I don't know how to play this, they're probably gonna take long, and they're probably going to be like quite panicky, and they might overbet or they might underbet, and it's just something that just kind of looks a bit shady, right? The normal player that hits, well, the good player that hits like a 3 of a kind on the flop or something like that, they'll probably check it back, or just check raise or something like that, right? Or just a simple call if they get bet on, if someone bets into them, right? So they won't just like they won't panic, they won't take too long, and they basically will be very, very structured in their game. And this is usually noticeable over a few periods of time, basically looking at the player, looking at the cards that they have, and basically just getting that read on that player over the period of time that they're at the table. So now we've played quite a few hands with this small change guy, so it's going to be interesting to see how he plays in the future. But yeah, panicking and over betting is a very, very big sign of being a fish as well. Okay, now the next one is quite an obvious one, and I'm sure you guys know it. It's ignoring position on the table. Okay, so you can see, obviously we've got small blind, big blind, and we've got the dealer button here, and then you've got the other positions obviously under the gun, and then CO, and then the other ones here. So out of position would essentially be here. Now, if you're not basically taking note of your position on the table and they're playing out of position, again, it's a very, very big sign that they are a fish here. You don't really want to be playing out of position here, one after the gun. It's just it's a horrible place to be. You're always like the first to act. Well, you're not the first to act, obviously the small blind and the big blind are, but it's not a very favorable position considering where you could be playing in like having the dealer button, right? That's obviously the most profitable position to be in when playing poker. And again, guys, I'm not a professional poker player at all. I'm just listing off these things that I do when I do look for these fish at the table, and these things do work. Okay, they really, really do work over a period of time, essentially, right? And another one here that we've got on the list is never folding ace high. Okay, never folding ace high because they think, oh yeah, ace high is going to take me all the way through. It's basically the same as like not folding pretty much all of the good hands. They hit a pair, they run it all the way through essentially, right? And this is where you can really make some money off these fish because you can basically just simply see that they're. See, like he basically went all the way through here with pocket fives here. I know it was pretty much a check all the way through, but yeah, pocket fives all the way through there, which wasn't actually a bad play. He checked the whole way through, but still, he is still a fish. We have seen that he's a fish through previous gameplay. Okay, and the final one here is essentially bluffing once and then getting caught out and then never bluffing again. So you'll see a fish basically be quite aggressive all of a sudden, basically betting the whole way through, getting caught out in their bluff at the end, someone basically winning with a pair and they've essentially got nothing, and then they go, oh, I've been caught out on my bluff, and then you basically watch them sit there and then they'll play tight the whole game, okay? And that basically shows that they're not bluffing anymore because they got caught out in their bluff. They're not confident bluffing, and basically means that anything they're going to be playing in the future is likely to either be quite good hands, or they'll fold to most raises, to most aggressive play. Okay, so those are a few things that I would look out for here when well, the things that I do look out for here when playing fish. If you've got any more, guys, or hunting for fish, if you've got any more tips and tricks, please let me know in the comment section, guys. I'm really intrigued to hear from you guys as an audience and your poker experience as well. But yeah, that is gonna be it from me. Thank you ever so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Drop a little like on your way out if you did enjoy the video. And that is gonna be it from me today. Thank you ever so much. Peace out for now, and I'll see you in the next video.